The Director of Communications and Media for the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America. Always great to see you, Andrij. Thank you for being here.
Hello, friend. Thank you for having me.
Hello. All right, so a lot to bite off today. You know, both Zelensky and Trump described that hour-long phone call in positive terms. President Trump has said all parties are working toward a ceasefire and permanent peace agreement. But Putin is putting some key demands before any deal can move forward. He wants to end military aid to Ukraine as well as intelligence sharing. How do you believe those requests speak to Russia's strategy and ultimate motivations here?
Well, according to one Kremlin handler, their goal as of yesterday still remains to crush Ukraine. Those are the words he used. So we know that Russia is on a quest to dismantle everything around it that is democratic, that can demonstrate to its own people a standard of living that they haven't experienced. And the only way to do that is, in their minds, to begin a war no matter what the consequences. The consequences have been tragic for Russia. Tragic in the way that they cannot keep their economy sustained at this level. Their reserves have dipped down to below 30 billion. This is for a country of over 100 million people. Basically, their economy is frankly sustained by giving people jobs to make weapons for the war. We don't know what would happen to their economy after the war. And what they're trying to do is trying to convince Western partners that they can find, including President Trump, that they are acting in good faith, as Steve Witkoff said yesterday from the White House. He had to explain that he believed that they were acting in good faith, even though they had at that point launched 150 plus attacks on Ukraine the night before. Last night, they launched over 200 drone attacks, including ballistic missile attacks.
Yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. I feel like it's land. You know, a major stumbling block for these negotiations is going to be these territorial concessions. Russia is going to want a lot from Ukraine. Is there something that's negotiable? And I think the real issue at heart here is, does Ukraine believe those concessions would lead to a full stop of this aggression? It sounds like no.
I believe that we already saw that in 2015 in the negotiations, and we've seen that including with what's happening in Georgia with occupied territory, supposedly there for a temporary ceasefire with Russian quote-unquote peacekeepers, basically occupying land and shooting people that might trespass on it. So this would not be a cessation. And again, Russia has a genocidal role here. You know, they are using sexual violence to target women and men. They filter people when they take over a town, put them into camps in Belarus or Russia. They use cattle prods while people are masked naked in a shower. And according to the United Nations, one of the guards said, we are cattle prodding this man's genitals because they want him not to have children again. I just want to give a sense of what kind of actions Russia is doing on the people of the occupied territory. So even if you were to cede territory, you still have to consider about what's happening in those areas, what those people who have been taken over. And that's a big concern for Ukraine, understanding that there are Ukrainian citizens that they do not want to leave behind.
Yeah, we've got about 40 seconds left, and I appreciate you highlighting that. During this call between Trump and Zelensky, Trump suggested Ukraine consider handing over the operation of its power plants to the U.S. The idea being the plants would be more secure under U.S. control. What are your thoughts on that?
A lot of confusion with the statements coming out of the White House. So President Zelensky clarified that he was specifically talking about the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, not power plants as a whole. And that is the largest nuclear power plant in Ukraine and in Europe. So that's obviously concerned to keep safe. It's something that Ukraine has been proposing since 2022. They proposed that there be a ceasefire on any kind of nuclear and or energy plant. And it's only now that Russia states that it wants to go on with it. But unfortunately, as we saw last night and the night before, Russia is still targeting civilian energy infrastructure.
Always appreciate your insights. Help to put the story together. Andrij Dobriansky, thank you.
Thank you.
And coming